beneath the burning African savanna inside a dark dirt cave, a fragile newborn warthog named Boris takes his very first breath beside his exhausted mother. Warm yellow light flickers softly across the cave walls while dusk drifts silently through the underground shelter. Tiny Boris trembles helplessly against the cold dirt floor while weak breaths escape from his newborn body. His mother lowers her giant head lovingly beside him and gently nudges the tiny piglet closer to safety. The newborn opens his eyes slowly for the very first time and stares into the dangerous world surrounding the cave. Soon hungry little Boris crawls beneath his mother and drinks warm milk while distant winds howl outside the hidden den. Safe beneath her massive body, the fragile newborn sleeps peacefully while the harsh African wilderness waits beyond the darkness. Days later, Boris finally steps hesitantly toward the entrance of the cave beneath the glowing morning sunlight. The tiny warthog takes his first awkward steps into the endless savanna while dry grass waves gently around him. Golden sunlight shines beautifully across his striped fur while curious eyes scan the enormous open plains. Young Boris explores the tall, dry grass fearlessly while warm African wind brushes across his tiny body. His snout pushes through loose dirt, searching curiously for roots hidden beneath the cracked earth. But hidden deep within the grass, danger already stalks the vulnerable piglet. A hungry jackal appears silently between the waving grass with cold eyes locked directly onto little Boris. The predator creeps lower and lower while the tiny warthog continues exploring completely unaware of the approaching death. Then suddenly the jackal explodes forward through the grass in a blur of teeth and dust. Terrified, little Boris squeals loudly and freezes as the predator lunges directly toward him. At the final second, thunder erupts across the savannah. His gigantic mother charges violently between Boris and the attacking jackal. Massive tusks slash through the dust while the enraged mother roars furiously at the predator. The jackal stumbles backward in fear as the fearless mother warthog defends her trembling son. Realizing the piglet cannot be reached, the frightened predator retreats quickly into the tall grass, defeated. Shaking with fear, Boris presses tightly against his mother's legs while dust settles slowly across the plains. Soon the young warthog begins practicing survival beside his protective mother. Little Boris digs eagerly for roots beneath giant acacia trees while the scorching African sun burns overhead. Using his growing snout, the piglet uncovers hidden roots from the dry earth with increasing confidence every day. Time passes across the endless savannah and Boris slowly grows larger and stronger beneath the brutal wilderness. Then one blazing afternoon, a deadly shadow appears high above him. A stealthy leopard crouches silently within the branches of a giant tree, watching young Boris below. Completely unaware of the predator overhead, the juvenile warthog roots peacefully through the dry dirt, searching for food. Suddenly the leopard launches violently downward from the tree, directly toward unsuspecting Boris. The massive predator crashes heavily onto the young warthog, pinning him brutally against the ground. Dust explodes everywhere while Boris thrashes desperately beneath the deadly claws crushing his body. Fear floods his eyes while the leopard tightens its grip, preparing the killing bite. Then the earth itself begins to shake. From across the savannah, a gigantic father warthog charges at terrifying speed toward the violent struggle. Without hesitation, the enormous boar slams directly into the leopard with devastating force. The predator is thrown violently aside while Boris scrambles desperately free from the crushing him. Snarling furiously, the injured leopard retreats quickly into the bushes after realizing the battle is lost. Safe beside his massive father, exhausted Boris breathes heavily beneath the blazing African sky. Scars mark his young body, but survival has already begun transforming the frightened piglet into a warrior. Seasons continue passing across the harsh savannah while Boris grows into a muscular adolescent warthog. His tusks begin curving proudly from his mouth while strength ripples through every movement of his body. Now faster and fearless, teenage Boris races confidently across the hard, dry plains beneath the burning sun. Then suddenly a blur streaks through the distance. A lightning-fast cheetah explodes into pursuit and races directly toward adolescent Boris across the savannah. The brutal chase tears across the cracked earth while clouds of dust erupt behind them. Boris sprints desperately with every ounce of strength while the cheetah closes the distance rapidly behind him. The predator lunges closer and closer while terrified Boris gasps heavily beneath the scorching heat. Then instinct suddenly takes control. Instead of running, Boris skids violently across the dirt and spins around to face the approaching predator directly. Lowering his newly grown tusks aggressively toward the cheetah, The young warthog unleashes a fearless roar. The startled predator hesitates immediately upon seeing the transformation inside the once helpless piglet. Boris charges forward with explosive courage, forcing the cheetah backward through the dust. Intimidated by his aggression and growing strength, the frightened predator slowly retreats from the battle. Victorious for the first time on his own, adolescent Boris stands proudly beneath the blazing African sun. Time marches relentlessly onward until Boris finally becomes a gigantic, fully grown warrior of the savannah. Massive muscles ripple beneath his thick hide while enormous deadly tusks curve proudly beside his powerful jaws. Adult Boris walks fearlessly across the open plains, carrying the scars of every brutal battle survived since birth. Even lions and hyenas watch cautiously whenever the mighty warthog marches through the grasslands. Strong wind blows across his hardened face while golden sunset light glows across his giant tusks. Now battle-tested and fearless, Boris climbs slowly onto a giant rock overlooking the endless African wilderness. Standing high above the savannah like an ancient king, the massive warthog unleashes a thunderous roar toward the burning sky. Dust swirls dramatically around his enormous body while the fading sunlight transforms him into a legendary silhouette against the horizon. No longer the fragile newborn trembling helplessly inside a dirt cave, Boris now stands as one of the fiercest warriors of the African plains. From a tiny vulnerable piglet hunted by jackals, leopards, and cheetahs to a fearless giant feared across the savannah, Boris's journey is forged through courage, instinct, endurance, and relentless survival.
Like and subscribe.